Okay, so true story. I almost didn't get to see Dope on the day that I wanted to see it, which was Tuesday, because when it comes to the 3 theaters near me, there's a discount on Tuesdays where every ticket, no matter what time or what movie you see, it's only $5. But I had the whole day planned out because I had to work in the evening, so I thought, alright, I'm going to see the earliest showing of Dope. Once it's done, it'll probably be about lunchtime, eat lunch, go to work, enjoy the rest of my day. But just when I was about to leave, just when I was about to open the garage door to leave and see the movie, the power goes out. And so my car is trapped in my garage, I can't get out, and the door is way too heavy for just one person. We have a frickin' heavy garage door. And so I thought I was pretty much screwed, and instead I stayed at home and did movie reviews. In fact, if you've seen my review of Aloha, the power actually comes on during my review, and I kept it in there. But thankfully, the last showing of the day was a time that I could see it because it was right after work. So I saw Dope, and I was entertained, and I am glad that I saw Dope, because it's definitely one of my favorite movies of this year. Deep down, Dope has several premises that are similar to other films, but they're mixed up and they're done in a way that's highly original and highly entertaining. It's about 3 nerdy friends that are living in a very bad neighborhood, and it is not safe to be a nerd in this neighborhood. They love 90s hip-hop, they're dressed up in 90s get-up, and they get picked on, obviously. But then our main character starts taking an interest to this one girl. So he wants to impress her, and they all go to this exclusive party, and things go chaotic. Through chaotic means he suddenly gets a bag of dope in his backpack, and it's a large amount. So now he and his friends have to find a way to get rid of it and just deal with it throughout the rest of the movie. So yeah, overall it is a story about a kid trying to better himself to be able to get out of this bad neighborhood. It's also a bit of a teen romance because he's involved with this girl. And because there are drug dealers and gang members in this movie, it also feels like a gangster movie from the hood. So overall, it is a mixture of all types of movies and different types of genres that meld in together so well. Overall, the acting was phenomenal, especially from our main character, who was incredible in this movie. Overall, it is a drama comedy, but it is a little bit more drama than it is comedy. It's not one of those comedies that is funny because of things that people say or because of one-liners and punchlines. It's a comedy that is funny because of the tone and because of the crazy situations these characters just get into. The drama involved in this movie is very grounded, it feels very realistic, and it feels very relatable to pretty much anyone. Overall, I really didn't have much issue with this film. The characters were great, the plot was interesting, the story was original, and what I really want to congratulate it for is it never felt like a mess despite of all these crazy elements and all these different genres that meld into this movie. Thankfully, it didn't become as messy as the first half of Aloha. And it definitely had the greatest potential of becoming a mess because it's got a lot of different elements in this film. It's about a boy that's in love with a girl. You got him dealing with his friends. You got him and his friends wanting to be a band. You've got him and his friends having to deal with this dope that have suddenly appeared in our main character's backpack. You've got some gang members after them for the dope. You've got this other person wanting them to sell the dope. You've got all these different crazy things that could have easily made it into a mess. It always felt like it stayed focused, and every time it felt like a scene was feeling like it was getting out of focus, and every time a scene felt like, okay, where are they going with this? Suddenly, before I could ask the question, it gets right to the point again, gets focused, refocused, and you realize, okay, that built up to, alright, I got it. When I was thinking of all the elements that just happened to work for the plot and everything seemed to come together just right, it reminded me of Paddington. I know, totally different film, but Paddington was another one of those movies that has a lot of different elements in it and a lot of different ideas, but everything that it puts on the screen, everything it tells you, every little information, all comes together, and that's what happens in Dope. Every little information that they give you, every little thing is all important by the end of the film. And it all helps lead to the climax of the film. But with that said, it's not a perfect film for me because there are a few things that I was just sort of about, you know? Because at the beginning of the film, there is a narrator that is giving us information about the characters. And at first, I didn't really like it. After the first couple of lines of dialogue from this narrator, I was thinking, okay, maybe you could have just gone without the narrator and let us figure it out for ourselves what kind of characters these people are, because some of them are like blatantly obvious things. But once the narrator got to a certain point at the beginning of this film, I started feeling a little bit more personality from the narrator, and some of the things he said was incredibly funny. So I was thinking, okay, maybe this narrator is a good thing. So I started liking the narrator, but then it never comes up ever again. It's one of those things where you start something at the beginning and then it never happens ever again throughout the rest of the movies. It kind of reminds me of what Tomorrowland did. Tomorrowland had this structure that they were going for with them talking to a camera and explaining the story, and then for the first act they kept popping from the main story back to them telling the story, but then it never comes up again and it's just like almost like it had been forgotten. Plus, there are two scenes that are a little slow for me. One of them being this bus ride, which I get because it's almost like a dream sequence and it's very slow. It's just sort of like, alright, just get back to the movie. And then there was another scene, I can't remember what part or what specifically, but I remember there was another scene that was a little slow, but then it picked up again and I was like, okay, that's fine. And that's not that big of a deal for me because I've seen movies that are slow throughout and still was entertained by them. So that's not big of an issue, it's just something I should point out. But yeah, overall I think Dope is an incredible movie. It is in my top 10 currently, and it's pretty high up there. I would probably give this about 4.75 stars, but I don't do quarters for this year, so 4.5 stars. Yeah, I highly recommend it. It is an insanely good movie. It is funny. It's dramatic. Plus, it's an extremely heartfelt movie that is very relatable. So go ahead and check it out if you want to see it. If you've seen Dope, then what did you think about it? Go ahead and comment. And as always, this is Bruce Gifford, and this was Just My Opinion.